Hello everybody. Welcome to my Zen Den. Sorry that I'm a little bit late. Not too bad. Like 7 minutes, I think it says. If you knew the day I had, you'd say, wow, I can't believe you made it. I was actually all the way up in Duluth today with my son at an archery tournament. So I literally just got back like a few minutes ago and kind of my desk off, and I have got a card for you tonight that I'm going to be casing from a friend of mine named Sandy Carlson. So Sandy, thank you so much for this idea for this fold, and I'm going to be using the Delicate Whispers bundle and the Delicate Dreams designer series paper. So let's get the camera flipped around and we will get stamping. Hold on one second. All right. Bear with me while I flip my camera around. So here is the card that Sandy sent to me. And I liked it because it is a fun fold, but you know me, I'm not a super tricky stamper. So when I see a fun fold that I'm like, oh, I can remake that, my eyes perk up just a little bit. So here's Sandy's fun fold. It's a little, I'm going to make it just a little bit different, and I'm going to use a little bit different DSP, from the same set, but I don't have this. So I'm going to change it up a little bit, and I'm going to use a little bit different colors of DSP, but still kind of the same thing. So let's get cracking here. And let's hope I have it all together, because literally I just got home a half hour ago. So I have got a piece of basic white that is 9 3/4 by 4. I'm going to show you where I'm going to score this. I'm going to score it at 3 1/4 and then again at 6 1/2. So we're going to make a tri-fold there. I've got a piece of crumb cake here that is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So it's the size of a standard card. That's going to be our bottom. Then this is going to be where the fun fold part happens. I've got 3 pieces, I'm sorry, of designer series paper. The first one is 3 by 3 1/4. And this is of course the Delicate Dreams. It's got that really pretty coppery color. Oh, I love that. It's so fun. And then so let me see here. Did I say this is 3 by 3 1/4? And then I've got 2 pieces of 1 by 4 DSP. That's kind of a contrasting color. And then I've got some scraps of Mossy Meadow, crumb cake, and basic white. My Mossy Meadow and my crumb cake have adhesive back on it already. I've put that on already because I've got plans for that. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my trimmer here, and I'm only going to use, I just want to use the scoring blade. I don't want to cut anything. And if you're like me, I'm going to show you a cheating way, because for some reason there's just something about opening that arm up. To me, I don't know, I just don't do it. I find ways to not do it. So I'm going to score at 3 1/4 right there, and then you could open up your arm and move it out to 6 1/2 and score it at 6 1/2, or you could take it out all the way, flip it around, and score it at 3 1/4 again, because that's just how I roll. Either way, you're going to end up with a score mark at 3 1/4 and 6 1/2. So there's 3 equal pieces, 3 1/4 each. So we can get rid of that. So now I'm going to fold this in just a simple Z fold. But if you look, sometimes if your Z fold doesn't, this one did turn out kind of almost perfect. But if you notice that your Z fold is ever off when you are folding it, you can always roll that just a little bit. And that's where your bone folder comes in really handy, because you can kind of pull that fold wherever you want it to. So if you want your fold to come out just a little bit more, I just marred up my paper. If you want your fold to come out a little bit more, you can pull it a little bit farther out. If you want it to go in a little bit more, you can push it a little farther in. So, or if you want it exactly where it's at, just put it right where it's at. So now I've got my piece of basic white, and it's going to open up like this. All right, so that is that. Let's see here what we've got going. Let's build the card, because that's kind of where we're at. I'm going to take my 2 pieces, my small pieces of designer series paper. Let's just lay this out to make sure, because I would hate to see that my measurements were off after I've got paper attached. We're going to put those out towards the edges, probably about an 1/16 to an 1/8 inch from the edge, I think. And then our 3 1/4 piece should fit right down. Look at that. Right down in the middle of that. After I attach it, it's going to be square. I probably will use some glue so I have some wiggle room. And then this piece is going to go, oh, it's like I measured it and it worked out sometimes we need to be thankful for small miracles. Let's use, normally I use scale. I was going to call that snail, but Stampin' Seal. Snail is old news. But I'm going to use my glue. And my glue holder here, somebody commented on it last week. This is just my friend Joyce turned me onto these glue holders. She got them off of Amazon, and I can actually link them in here if you'd like. They're fine tip. If they do, they haven't plugged on me yet. I just use regular green glue in it. So my regular, I don't have one out here because they're all inside of here. My regular green Tombow glue, and I just pour it in there. And then if it plugs up, I can literally take this cover off, poke a pin in it, put it in some hot soapy water, and it'll unplug. And it'll be just fine. It'll work just fine. So, really a handy little tool there. I like them. And they're pretty inexpensive. So if you go in with some girlfriends, you can get a bunch of them. I think like 10 for like $1 a piece, something like that. So, inexpensive little hack there. All right, so I've got my pieces down there. So now this is going to, see, when it's glued down and not moving, it works so much better. Let's do that. I do like glue when I'm doing something that needs to be like potentially moved. That's really tight. Sometimes, like this one is kind of tight. I still have the ability to move this if I wanted to, just a little bit. So I do like glue for that reason. But now I'm back to where I feel comfortable. Let's use my Stampin' Seal because that is really where my heart lies. I just love it. Okay, so now put this right on there. Isn't that paper just to die for? This is actually one of the new in colors, this light blue. It's called Hydrangea Hue. Kind of a sneak peek for you. I am so looking forward to that color. All right, so now I am going to grab some dies here. So I'm using my Delicate Whispers bundle. So this is the stamp set, and here's the dies. I'm going to use some of the standalone dies. I'm going to grab, let's see, this one right here and this one right here. And so these both just make some twigs, if you will, some greenery, some stuff in the background. So I'm going to put, let's see here, this one I'm going to cut out of my Mossy Meadow, and this one I'm going to cut out of my Crumb Cake, and then out of my Nested Essentials dies, which if you don't have these dies, they are truly essential. They are so good. I love them. I'm going to grab my circle. Let's see, the second largest circle, and I'm going to put that on some white. So let's do that first, because I don't think, well, we can do 2 at a time. We can do 2 at a time. Do you do that where you cut more than one thing at a time on your cut and emboss? I do that quite a bit. So I'm going to cut just like that. And what'll happen when I go to put my scraps away is I like to have, I didn't have for right at this time, but I like to have some pieces in my Crumb Cake that have the adhesive back on already. So I can just go ahead and pull them out for a quick little thing like this. Where's my take? Need my take your pick tool. Okay, so we can just pop that out. So now there's that. Isn't that cute? Just a little piney little twig. So now this is going to go into my pack of Crumb Cake paper. It's going to have that on there, and I'll be able to use it whenever I want to. Okay, and there's my circle die. And one more here. Let's put this guy right there. One more. We're going to do a Mossy Meadow little piece of greenery there. Run that through the cut and emboss machine. All right. So now I can poke that guy out. And these are really nice dies. They're very dainty, but they come out really, really nice of the die itself. So, all right, so there's that piece. Now I'm going to bring in my stamps. So my stamps that I'm going to be using the Sentiment Thank You Kindly, and I'm also going to be using this here. So this is very similar to this. It doesn't cut it out, but it does kind of, it's gonna like accent it a little bit. So I'm going to grab my crumb cake ink, and we're going to start with that. So here's my crumb cake. Grab my Stampin' Pierce mat just so that I have a little bit of pressure, a little bit of something to stamp on. I think I better grab a piece of scratch paper because I'm going to go off. Okay, so I've got my piece here, and I'm just going to stamp that right on there. And I'm not too worried about it because it's just going to be a background. And then the thank you kindly, I'm going to stamp that right there. Cute. Okay, that's my stamping. Fairly simple. I could maybe stamp something inside here if I wanted to, but I'm not going to this time. But you totally, totally could. All right, so we'll close that up. So now, if I put this on here, like a so, and now I've got my adhesive on the back of these. These adhesive sheets are the best, if you can get them off. And once you get them off, they're great. And I might need to put on my glasses. I'm hitting that point in my life. There we go. Once I get it started, it's not so bad. All right, so we'll pull that off. So now I've got, this is a sticker. How cool is that, huh? We're just gonna stick that right on to here. And it's gonna, like I said, act as kind of an accent piece. So it's not gonna be right on there, but it's going to be somewhat on there. And then we're going to do the same with this guy. This is where you say a prayer. Lord, just give me a corner. Whoops. It's not coming off. See, this is where I'm so, yeah, somebody said last time, you make it look so easy. I struggle too. Okay, here it is. It's coming apart. I see it. There we go. Okay. Perfect. Put it on there, and that's just going to add a little bit of extra, on there. Okay, so now we can put that right on to here. And I'm going to use some dimensionals because I, of course, want to bump that up just a little bit. There we go. Who's all planning to come to Stamp Camp on Sunday in Bertram? I'm so excited. It's going to be a good one, guys. My friend Katie is making a couple of cards for us to make, and then I'm making some cards, so we'll have 8 cards there. If you've never been to a live stamp camp, this is an in-person event only, but if you've never been to a live stamp camp, it's so much fun. You guys will love it. It is just the best. And if you don't understand how to use something or how to make something, that's what we're there for. I'm there to help you and to teach you and to clean up the mess. So it's great. It's a win-win-win. I need just a little bit of extra show on this, so I'm going to use some linen thread. And if you ever notice that linen thread is like spindly, if you take your snips and just kind of break those fibers, it's going to make it a lot easier to tie. And I always like to double up. So I'm folding it in half first, and then I'm just going to make a simple bow like you would to tie your shoe. Like that. All right. I promise. There we go. Okay. I promise I'm making a bow. I really, really am. I'm just trying to get them equal. So Stamp Camp on Sunday, the 29th of March, Bertram, Minnesota at 1 p.m. If you'd like to come, I would love to see you. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. All right. So I've got my nice little bow made out of our linen thread. And so what I do to adhere that is I grab just a little glue dot. My glue dots are way down there. I must have been using a lot of glue dots. And I just like to roll it up basically so it's a little smaller. So it's not a full dot, it's like a half a dot now. I've folded it in half. And I just set that down. And then I put my piece of the the knot of my bow right on top of there. I like to use the linen thread because it's so easy to manipulate and it's not too bumpy. Oh, isn't that cute? One more thing. I got one more thing. Let's add some dots because I've got some Mossy Meadow in there, but I don't have any Night of Navy. So I think maybe just a couple little Night of Navy dots would be, let's see, that's the small one. We're going to put that one up there. We're going to put a big one down there, and I like to work in threes. Or odd numbers. I shouldn't say 3, but I like to be odd numbers. So there we go. All right, perfect. So now, super simple little fun fold card. You could write your message in there, folds up nice, fits nicely inside of an envelope, mails beautifully. I love this. So thank you, Sandy, for your inspiration. Here again is Sandy's card. Very similar, just a little bit different. Hers also is a Z fold rather than an open fold like that. She actually made a Z fold. If you wanted that kind of a look, you just have to put one more fold in there and then tack it down. But that is my version of it. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you could give me a thumbs up, that would be much appreciated. Helps the algorithms and all the things. Otherwise, I will see you back here next Friday night for sure when I come back to my Zen Den and show you some more stamping. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.